What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Rocket Vlogs. In this episode, I'm starting a project that ventures into something I've never done before in high-powered rocket. I tend to believe that I can build a pretty stout rocket when it comes to sport flying stuff like this, or even pretty high-performance stuff like, well, this, I guess, if I put an end motor in it. But I've never ventured into the likes of extreme, minimum diameter, high-altitude stuff before. But recently, somebody in my local rocketry club, Tripoli Idaho Rocketry, had this Madcow Tomach 2.2, or some people pronounce it Tomach. I don't know how to pronounce that properly. But it's a minimum diameter, high performance kit, and we are going to try to break an altitude record I have not yet gotten to, which is 20,000 feet. Initially, I was going to do an L1000. But after doing some RAS Aero simulation, I don't really know how RAS Aero works, so I'm talking to some friends trying to get that situated. But it's looking like the L1000 is a little bit too much just right off the bat without any sort of sustain to get it to 20,000. We'll have to see how that looks. Maybe the K455 is the better option here. But primary idea behind this is keeping it cheap and simple. I got a great deal on the kit, so basically, I'm just trying to make this as cheap as possible, use a DMS motor, so if it shreds or I lose it, it's not the end of the world. So the MissileWorks RRC2 Plus that I had in the Iris took a bit of a bang up when it hit pretty hard, and also when the 5-inch dropped with no main parachute. So it's still functioning though. I'm going to put that in here because I have another brand new RRC2 Plus I haven't even opened yet that we'll put in the Iris and the 5-inch because those two share a sled. Cheap altimeter that I've had for a while. We're good. It still functions. It's just been through a little bit, so I'd rather not put a brand new one in this if we may never see it again. And then no retainer, a single-use motor, like I said. If we lose it, it's not the end of the world, but I don't want to lose it. I want to get it back. My primary goal here is to hit 20,000 feet. And the best way to do that is to save as much weight as possible, and that means we're not doing any sort of tip-to-tip fiberglass, carbon fiber, anything like that. Just a good strong bond and some big beefy fillets. Now, I did see a 54mm minimum diameter rocket that was surface bonded to fillets only fly on a Loki 54mm M and survive at LDRS in Argonia a couple years back. I know it's doable, so we're going to try our best to get these fins on straight and true. I want to give a shout out to my friends Ryan Catanesi and Taylor Jesse for helping me out here, trying to guide me in the minimum diameter world. They've both done some pretty wild minimum diameter stuff. Also, shout out to all the people forever on the Rocketry forum who have been posting all their failures and successes with minimum diameter. I've been reading through all these threads. Flying Frog, and your composite bonding thread is really helpful and beneficial. I had the misconception that when it comes to bonding fiberglass components or composites in general, that you want it as rough as possible, but he says ideal is 120 to 220 grit sandpaper, so you're not exposing the fibers of any of the composites that you're bonding. It's pretty wild. But yeah, let's get to it. Oh, by the way, this rocket's flying in like 3 weeks, so it has to be done fast. I ordered Additive Aerospace 54mm electronics bay because it looks rad. Flyaway guides. I don't know if these came from Madcow or if the guy I bought the kit from just supplied them, but they have 1/8-inch slots and this kit has 16-inch fins. So we're going to put some tape on each side of the fins to get those nice and tight so we can put these fins on straight. I do take slight issue with the design of the Tomach when it comes to high performance uses. So here's what we do. Take this, we got the fins right there. Whoop. Need the nose cone and the longer coupler. Stay. Electronics bay components. Bulk plate. Just one bulk plate? Oh no, there's 4 on there. Alright. You know what we do with this? I'm just kidding, I'm not actually throwing that stuff away. There's a really nice 54mm tube in there and some nylon shock cord we'll use on a different project at some point. This is all we'll be using though. 54 millimeter. We got the nose cone on there, the longer coupler because it's a little bit heavier, and it'll give me more room for electronics. And rock sim and everything we've balanced out puts this at about 1.9 calibers of stability loaded with the L1000, which is right about where you want a minimum diameter rocket. 2 is kind of preferred. That way when you're going through Mach transitions and your center pressure starts moving forward, it doesn't do any cool tricks. So, first things first, as with all fiberglass kits, bonding surfaces are getting sanded. But, thanks to Flying Frog, I now know to use 150 grit, or somewhere between 120 and 220. And then we'll get to putting some tape on these fins to get them to fit in these guys properly. I already gave this kit a parts bath, and after we sand everything, I'm going to wipe it down with denatured alcohol before any gluing starts as well. Another helpful tip in that composite bonding thread was to wear gloves and don't get your oily hands on anything, and to try and start bonding stuff within an hour of sanding. So that's what we're gonna do. I know a lot of like actual high performance dudes, they're flying minimum diameter N's and O's, are kind of laughing at me being this meticulous about a 54 millimeter minimum diameter, but it's my first try, okay? Alright, so I'm hoping that just one layer of tape on each side of the fin will make it tight enough As much as I'd love to CA tack all of these fins on, and I know some people have done it with minimum diameter, you guys also know if you watch my channel, I'm pretty paranoid about getting things on straight. So I'm going to use 5-minute epoxy just for the additional working time to make sure everything's good, and just to provide a little bit extra bond there. But I do think CA would do it if I knew what I was doing more in the world of minimum diameter. I know there's some concern about whether or not tacking in the fins on my 5-inch Punisher here was a good idea. Shane, you want? Is this the 5-inch Punisher I dropped from 13,000 feet with no main?
I think it is.
I don't have another one, so it must be this one.
Because those fins look like they're on there.
They look pretty attached still.
Yeah.
I actually picked it up. You can go back and watch the video where I hit all 3 fins.
Oh, yeah?
After I picked it up. I don't think I need to get the mallet out again.
No.
But, look at that. Any more questions? No? Good.
I think they stayed on.
It looks like they're there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I know you can't see me right now, but I actually am, however, going to use a trick that good friend Crazy Jim posted on the Rocketry forum. And it's where you use a little bit of CA to tack your minimum diameter fin in place, and then you use that fin to keep the guide straight for the other 2 fins, and then after those are glued on, you break the CA joint, you pull this back out, and then you sand it again, and then put it on with epoxy. So that's what we're going to do. Shout out Crazy Jim. I haven't seen him in a long time. I mean, that looks pretty straight. Take a look-see. Alright, now that this is going, we're going to, after this dries, we'll take the guides back off, and then I'm going to wrap a piece of masking tape right at the tip of this fin so that I can make sure that they're consistent distance from the end of the tube, or at least real close. Alright, time to get that CA fin off. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got another set of clean gloves, another piece of fresh sandpaper, and this epoxy's been drying for about 2 hours now. So we're gonna sand it and prep it for some fillets. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this episode of Rocket Vlogs. I'm just going to go ahead and upload this. I got another rocket build that's sitting right behind the camera, but I'm doing that all as one video, one complete thing. So this is my in-between LDRS release upload. I'll be at Airfest. We're flying this on, I don't know yet, L1000 maybe. K455 looks like the better option right now, or K250. If anyone's got a K250 sitting that you want to sell, send me a message here, comment it on the Rocketry forum, BigB1011 on Instagram, because the K250 will do 20,000 easier than L1000 will. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't seen rocketvlogs.square.site, if you want to see the full un-YouTube compressed, like ultra high definition release for LDRS, the whole thing, it's an hour and 18 minutes. It's $10 on that website. And the first, I think the next 12 people anyway who order it, as long as you put your address in the order, I'll send you a Rocket Vlog sticker and an APCP sticker as a little bit of an incentive. Because, you know, making these videos isn't cheap, traveling all over the country, and I know you guys aren't expected to, you know, help pay for my end motors and stuff like that. But I really appreciate everybody that's helping out so far. You're helping offset the costs of very expensive projects and making these videos. Somebody complained about the smudge on the long lens. I know, I didn't know it was there until I was editing. So the whole LDRS series is like that. It's not that noticeable unless you're looking for it, but I am going to buy another lens. So, in the meantime, we got some stuff to do. We got work to put in. So, thanks for watching. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. I know it says like 80% of my viewers that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So, press the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. I'm going to try and do another rocket giveaway at 10,000 subscribers. Hopefully a bigger one, maybe 5.5-inch lock kit or something like that. We'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, I'll see you next time.